For the second day of February 2021, I am Kevin Smith, and these are the top stories we're tracking. Hess flaunts 2020 accolades for environmental record while funding polluting operation in Guyana. U.S. analyst says Guyana's local content laws must evolve as industry develops. And serial drunk driver banned permanently from driving. Meanwhile, vaccine rollout will not be limited to public health sector, says the health minister. Stay tuned to stay informed. And now for the news in detail. Hess Corporation has boasted that it received recognition from third-party organizations for its environmental, social, and governance performance in 2020, all the while funding the ExxonMobil Liza Phase 1 operation, which has flared gas just about all year long. We reached out to Hess for a comment on the recognition as a good environmental steward in the same year that it funded ExxonMobil's polluting operation. The company was asked what part it has played in mitigating the pollution, if any, and what it is doing to ensure the pollution is brought to an end. Hess was always asked how it would defend its record when it funds the polluting operation. Senior Manager of Global Communications and External Affairs at Hess, Robert Young, deferred to the Liza Phase 1 operator, ExxonMobil. Meanwhile, cognizant of the reality that the oil and gas sector is one that is constantly evolving, Guyana's local content laws must cater for those changes. Making these and other critical points is Arthur Deakin, an analyst at the American Market Intelligence. Deakin indicated that Guyana does not have the volume to address one FPSO vessel. In light of this, and with more FPSOs to come, Deakin pointed out that what Guyana still needs is proper training for its citizens, as well as more resources invested in educating its citizens regarding the oil sector. And moving on, a serial drunk driver was permanently banned from driving after he appeared in court on Friday last to answer to his third count of driving under the influence of alcohol. 49-year-old Rupert Marshall of the West Bank of Demerara appeared in the Lenora Magistrates Court before Magistrate Zamina Ali C. Paul, who disqualified his driver's license. The charge stated that he drove a motor vehicle while his alcohol level had exceeded the prescribed legal limit. Marshall pleaded guilty to the charge, and the Magistrate Ali C. Paul disqualified him from being the holder of his driver's license. And now let's tell you, a rollout of COVID-19 vaccines once they arrive in Guyana will not be limited to the public health system. Moreover, private hospitals and health institutions will be involved. At least this is according to the Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony. Minister Anthony stated that the government has already started engaging in the private sector on the national vaccine rollout. He added that the government will get the private hospitals to dedicate special staff to work with the Ministry of Health, and they will be trained to properly administer the vaccine to Guyanese. It is now 12 hours 6. We will return after the break. Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. President of the Guyana Press Association, Nazima Ragubir, has urged the government to resume post-cabinet press briefings and to have more frequent engagement with the press. President Dr. Irfan Ali acknowledged the call by the association's president for post-cabinet briefings. He explained that the government has been very busy and that cabinet has been meeting frequently, multiple times per week. He, however, committed to resuming the post-cabinet briefings and to have more engagements with the press. And now let's tell you, swift and tactical action by members of the Guyana Fire Service helped to save the Shaheed's Girls Orphanage from any major damage after a fire erupted yesterday morning. CEO of the orphanage, Rahimina Rahman, said that based on information she received, the fire occurred sometime around 10 hours 55 after she left to carry out her duties. The orphanage is a two-story building located at Oleander's Gardens on the east coast of the Marara and currently houses 28 girls and 3 caretakers. In other news, 2 brothers were killed Sunday night and their mother and another relative were injured during a domestic dispute at number 43 village in Berbice. Dead are Surindra, 25-year-old Surindra, and his brother Mahindra. Hospitalized with serious injuries is their mother, Sukmati Richmond, age 40, while a fourth person, Anthony Prasad, a construction worker, was treated and sent away for an injury to his hand. The stepfather of the dead men, Randolph Richmond, also sustained a minor cut to his forehead. Police have since arrested the suspect, 49-year-old Vernon Ravi Ragadu, the brother of Randolph Richmond. And moving on, a man who 7 years ago had asked a magistrate to shoot him in the head was yesterday remanded for the death of a vagrant. The defendant, 27-year-old Kareem Stewart, was charged with murder by Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan at the Georgetown Magistrates Court. It is alleged that on January 27, 2021, Stewart killed Mark Benjamin, a vagrant, at Camp and Robb Streets. The defendant was not required to plead to the indictable charge and is expected to return to court on February 11, 2021. It is now 12 hours 9. Coming up next is your COVID-19 update. According to Worldometer, the number of worldwide coronavirus cases has reached 104 million, with deaths at 2.2 million and recovery cases at 75.9 million. The Ministry of Health yesterday reported that a 58-year-old woman from Region 4 was the country's 177th COVID-19 fatality. The ministry also reported 13 new cases, increasing the total toll to 7,654. 5 patients are in the COVID-19 ICU, 782 in home isolation, 55 in institutional isolation, and 8 are in institutional quarantine. The total number of recoveries has increased to 6,570, with 50,152 persons have been tested for the virus since March. And coming from CNN, if she'd waited to get vaccinated until it was her tears' turn, Isabella Medina wouldn't have gotten the COVID-19 vaccine until late summer. With multiple new coronavirus strains spreading across the country, Americans need to get vaccinated as quickly as possible to stop their mutations from emerging, says Dr. Anthony Fauci Monday. Speaking to CNN's Wolf Blitzer later Monday, Fauci said even if someone has had coronavirus, there's a very high rate of being reinfected with the new variants if they become dominant. And that brings us to the end of today's news at noon. I am Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening. Coming up next is a short and informative message from the publisher of Kaieteur News himself. My apologies, Mr. Glenn Law.